I'm not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning from Life in UK test, but 373, Glossary part 9. We are on the page 150 by doing leg stretching, and if you participate in the leg stretching, let's sit down. And to the first exercise. We're bringing one leg in front with the heel onto the ground, and we're pulling the toes towards us, and we're contracting from time to time the quad muscles. So I'll start with contraction of the quad muscles. We are now by house in history. A family, for example, the House of York. Do we mean so the House of York? If we're talking about a house, where was the House of York? They have the White Rose, and the House of Lancaster, they have the Red Rose. They were battling who became the next monarch from 1455 until 1485 for 30 years. 1455 it started until 1485 for 30 years, and with the Battle of Bosworth Field, where Richard III was killed and releasing protection, but you will like that. And Henry Tudor became the next king. And they joined the Roses to the Rose of Tudor. Household. A home and the people who live in it, something that relates to a home. For example, household chores or tasks that are done around the house, such as cleaning and cooking. And we're contracting again. A home and the people who live in it is the household. So a household is a home, it's a house, and there's some people living in it, oftentimes a family. And also things can be related, so that the term household can be then used, for example, for household chores, which are then things done at home, for example, cleaning or cooking. Now it's to a house where I said where it was mentioned, but here to a household. There was mentioned that in the United Kingdom, in many families today, both partners work and both share responsibility for childcare and household chores. And I don't know how to pronounce chores. And we're releasing the contraction, but we keep it like that. Now we're having House of Commons. That is that part of the Houses of Parliament where MPs who are elected by the voting public debate political issues. We are contracting again the quad muscles. What did we say here to the House of Commons? They said it is the more important chamber. It can overvote the House of Lords. The House of Commons has more powers to overrule the House of Lords, but these are not often used. And we're stretching the leg. And the MPs, they have a number of different responsibilities. They are, and we're pulling the toes towards us, and we're contracting our muscles to represent everyone in their constituency, help to create new laws, scrutinize and comment on what the government is doing, and debate important national issues. Who's now the government? It's a system of government. Maybe it's that. And it has the government, the prime minister, the cabinet, the opposition, the party system, the civil service, local. Maybe it has something to do with that it are different constituencies. And these constituencies are, and we're releasing protection, the monarch and the parliament, the prime minister and the cabinet, the judiciary and the police, the civil service and the local government. Maybe it has something to do with that. These are the constitutional institutions. And we're contracting again by keeping it like that. Now let's take a little break for walks and go to the gardens. Now we know from all that they are in the United Kingdom. But it seems so that we should know in which region of the United Kingdom. Not a smaller region, not that we would know where it is and can drive there, but in which of the 4 regions. We're going to learn, as they said it here, that Kew Gardens and Sissinghurst and Hitcote are in England, Graves Castle and Inverary Castle in Scotland, Bodmin Garden, Wales and Mount Stewart in Northern Ireland. We're releasing a contraction. Now, if someone lives in Cornwall, are we helped if they know that Sissinghurst is in England and not in Scotland, if they have no further description? What it is in Cumbria? In Cumbria instead of near Aberdeen or in Glasgow or near Glasgow. What does it matter to someone from Cornwall? But it seems so that we should take it more closely. We're saying it here, all the regions. We know we are in the United Kingdom. It seems to be important that we know in which of the 4 regions of the United Kingdom. They could have used this opportunity to say as a more smaller section. Now we are knowing so far of Lincolnshire, Suffolk and Essex. And I think they never mentioned more, and they're around 30, 40. We're having the leg at the outside. We're doing the anchor change stability test. The toes are pointing forward and we're pressing the leg a bit into the ground. If we would have said the region, then we certainly would have taken it thankful to learn a few more regions. Even that would not be enough to drive here, but that would be enough to know it is in the vicinity. To know it is in England is not really helpful. We're knowing it's in the United Kingdom, so is it now helpful to know that Sissinghurst and Kew Gardens are in England, and Graves Castle and Inverary Castle in Scotland, Bodmin Garden in Wales, and fourth thing, Mount Stewart in Northern Ireland? We're going to learn it that way. It seems as if we should do that. So Kew Gardens and Sissinghurst are in England, Graves Castle and Inverary Castle in Scotland, Bodmin Garden in Wales and Mount Stewart in Northern Ireland. That's for some reason very easy. Now I would like to know if Mount Stewart is a garden or if it has something to do with a mountain, because in Northern Ireland there was also Snowdonia. And if you're learning a second thing of Northern Ireland and it has again mountain in the title, maybe it has something to do with it. But no, nothing. No pictures, nothing. Just the double amount of information to learn without that you actually could find it. No, it does not help as a direction to drive it. But it's actually easy, I think, to learn that way. We are releasing this pressing, but we're keeping the leg there. So Kew Gardens and Sissinghurst in England, Graves Castle and Inverary Castle in Scotland, Bodmin Garden in Wales and Mount Stewart in Northern Ireland. The House of Lords. That is that part of the Houses of Parliament where people who have inherited their place or been chosen by the government debate political issues. We are pressing again into the ground for us. Be frontal with the main part of the body. So the Houses of Lords, that is that part of the Parliament, of the Houses of Parliament. The other part is the Houses of Commons. Is the House of Commons. And that is where the people who have inherited their place or that they had been chosen by the government debate political issues. We're going over to the other side. The toes are pointing forward and we're pressing the leg into the ground and we're frontal with the main part of the body. In the Houses of Parliament there are the people who have inherited their place or have been chosen by the government, and they are also debating political issues. It is more independent of the government than the House of Commons. It can suggest amendments or propose new laws, which have been discussed in the House of Commons. The House of Lords checks laws that have been passed by the House of Commons to ensure that they are fit for purpose. It also holds the government to account to make sure that it is working in the best interests of people. They are peers who are specialists in particular areas. That could be something which comes. So peers. The members of the House of Lords are known as peers. They're just asking for peers, and because it's technically just the name for something and the name itself doesn't really have a meaning, but only what it means, we are going so fast over that. So peers, we maybe ask what are the peers, that helps us nothing to understand the country, but we're going to ask it maybe in the test. So what are the peers? And the peers are the people in the House of Lords. The way the test works, we will have it difficult to ask for how it all works. We can just ask the things around. And we're relaxing the leg a bit, but we're keeping the leg. They are these peers, and they are specialized in particular areas, and the knowledge is useful in making and checking laws. But the House of Commons has more power and can overrule the House of Lords. The Houses of Parliament, that is the building in London where the House of Commons and Houses of Lords meet. It is built in a revival of the Gothic style, the medieval Gothic style. It is at the Thames. And there's a Big Ben, the Elizabeth Tower with the Big Ben in it, next to it. And we're pressing again the leg into the ground. Illegal, something which the law does not allow. So there are things illegal in the United Kingdom. They told us a few. For example, it's a criminal law to carry a weapon of any kind, to sell or buy drugs. We want to do the next exercise. Leg at the outside. Flex foot, torso pointing forward. Every time you make up. Elegant. To insult someone because of a religion or ethnic background. To sell tobacco to someone under 18, or to give tobacco, I think also. They sing selling. And smoking in areas where it is forbidden. Then to buy alcohol if you're under 18, or to give it people who are under 18. And to drink in public in alcohol forbidden zones. These are things which are illegal. For example, it's also illegal to drive a car which is older than 3 years old and does not have an MOT certificate, which is 1 year old. It's illegal to drive without a driver's license, or to drive without being at least 17. And you must have your car registered. You have to pay an annual car tax. You have to tell it if you park it off the road. You must have valid motor insurance. So, infrastructure. Structured network that is necessary for successful operation of a business or transport system, for example, roads and railways. We have the leg at the outside. Now we're bringing it up and again down. Last time, when we were talking about the architects, I didn't mention Eichenbad Kingdom Brunel. He built a bunch of bridges and tunnels. So, infrastructure, that is the structured network that is necessary for successful operation of a business or transport system. So it means the roads and the railways. So the infrastructure we have, where the canals were built from the fabrics on the inland to the ports and so on. So that is infrastructure all. Building roads that all the goods can be transported and also the people can drive. Roads and railways, this is all infrastructure. But roads is more. You will need bridges and tunnels for mountains and valleys. And so infrastructure is all that. The structured network that is necessary for successful operation of a transport system. Innocent in law means found by a court not to have done something illegal. So innocent means in legal terms that someone has not done, if the court says that someone has done not the illegal thing, so that they are innocent, they have not done the thing which they were accused of. Judge, the person in charge of a court. The judge makes sure what happens in court is fair and legal. Have we hear something? We had legal advice, county courts with small claims, crown courts and sheriff courts, youth courts, the judiciary. Judges are called altogether judiciary. They are responsible for interpreting the law and ensuring that trials are conducted fairly. The government cannot interfere with this. So the judge, that is the person in charge of the court, so that's the person managing the whole court, where the laws happen. If someone is accused and then before court, that's the thing. And the judge makes sure what happens in court is fair and legal. They are leading the trial, and they are also looking if are responsible for interpreting the law, and yes, they're making sure that what happens in court is fair and legal. And now fast to the police. There was also something we might gonna ask, but we have no idea what we're talking about. So what is the job of a police? To protect life and property, to prevent disturbances, and to prevent and detect crime. We're not going to do anything new anymore. Let's try it fast. What was the first? Kew Gardens. Kew Gardens in Sissinghurst in England. Then in Scotland there are Graves Castle and Ilkley Castle. And in Wales there is Mount Stuart. And in Northern Ireland there is something else. In Northern Ireland is in Wales is Mount Stuart. And there is something else, I don't know right now. Last exercise, the soles of the feet are together, we're sitting tall up and we're leaning in front. And to the next part, we're going to try what this is. Yeah, I thank you very much, and until next time.